For the past many summers, we've reported from soybean management field day locations across Nebraska. Even if you didn't attend one of the 4 sites for the 2014 event, you'll soon be able to see results from tests conducted there. In addition, you'll also be able to hear updates this week from grower-based trials in the Nebraska On-Farm Research Network. Nebraska Extension educator Keith Glewen recently joined us to discuss the events, starting with soon-to-be-released data from the 2014 soybean management field days.
We've been working with the Nebraska Soybean Board since 1999 and conducting these educational programs, usually in the month of August for soybean growers. And every year they're at a different farming operation. And approximately 3 years ago, we stepped back and said, you know, we go to a lot of work putting out these demonstration plots, let's just do a little more work and conduct replicated research at these 4 sites. So we have engaged the university faculty, those being plant pathologists, entomologists, agronomists, and so forth, to conduct research at these sites, and we capture yields at the end of the growing season. And so this year, like we did last year, we've put together a book which has the research results, and it'll be going out in the month of March to 23,000 soybean growers across the state of Nebraska.
Give me some takeaways from the studies that you did, some of the bigger ones or some of the noteworthy ones.
Growers are challenged every year with marketing to adopt and implement new input practices, management practices. So we're looking at some of the real world things that I like to think of, such as the use of fungicides on seed, use of insecticides as seed treatments, using fertilizer early on in the growing season, looking at later applications of fertilizer, insecticides, and fungicides in the reproductive stages of growth, and then combining all those together. So we have, in one study, we have 240 plots at each site that are replicated, and so we're capturing a lot of data and trying to validate if these management practices are legitimate or if there's certain situations where we need to use them. Another study that we've been looking at is nitrogen management in soybean production. Now that's usually not something you would think would be needed, but the industry in certain cases is promoting the use of nitrogen. And so our soil scientists, our nutrient management specialists have been looking at early season nitrogen applications, late season nitrogen applications. As you well know, water is important in Nebraska, and it's ag economy, so we've got some irrigation studies. And those can be challenging because sometimes Mother Nature doesn't cooperate. You don't want rain and it rains, and that messes up your study. But that's a good example. We're looking at these research topics, not just one growing season, but we're looking at them at over multiple growing seasons and looking at them at multiple different farming operations and growing regions so we can get an idea on some consistency of results.
Keith, as you're very aware, on last week's episode of Market Journal, we talked about the Nebraska On-Farm Research Network, and you have some events going on across the state, 2 more coming up this week. Tell me about that network and what producers will be able to learn about if they attend those 2 meetings this week.
Again, this is real world. Growers oftentimes have questions that they would like answered on their farming operation because maybe that research facility that the university has is 150 miles away. Their soils are different. Their management practices are different. So we have growers, we have industry people that come to us and say, here's a topic we'd like to research on our farm. And so growers who attend, industry people are welcome to attend. There's no cost to attend, thanks to, in part to financial contributions from the Nebraska Corn Board, Nebraska Corn Growers Association, as well as Nebraska Soybean Board. And on Monday, February 16th, we'll have a session at Norfolk at the Lifelong Learning Center, and on the 17th at the Ag Research and Development Center near Meade. The program will be from 9 to 3. There's no cost to attend, but we'd sure like to have you call ahead so we can make sure we have sufficient food and printed materials for you to take home.
So I imagine there are a lot of farmers out there that are thinking this is interesting, it's an interesting project, but I don't know if it's for me. What's the biggest hurdle to getting someone involved?
Fear. A lot of growers think that it's going to take a lot of their time. When they think of research, they think of small plots. I just alluded to it, earlier. However, these studies involve field length strips using the grower's equipment. Usually it's 2 treatments, A versus B, something I haven't been doing versus my current method of growing corn or soybeans. And again, they use their own equipment, field length strips. It's just important they set it up right and harvest it correctly.
Keith says the Nebraska on-farm research meetings will include more than 75 studies from about 50 growers located from Box Butte County to the Missouri River. We'll link to more information about those meetings on the Market Journal website.